नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्राय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रे। यं ब्रह्मवरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुत स्तुवन्ति दिव्यैस्त्वै वेदे सङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदे गायन्ति यं सामगा। ध्यानवस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुसुरसुरगणा। देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। Hare Krishna. So last time we were talking about Nandutsav. Nand Maharaj celebrated the appearance of Lord Krishna in Gokul. And after Nandutsav, what was the main pastime we covered? We discussed Putana Vad, deliverance of Putana. So, as Krishna sucked out the life air of Putana, as Krishna killed Putana, so not actually killing Putana, Krishna delivered Putana. So, Putana's body, it's described that Putana's body was how long?
6.
What 6? 6 meters, 6 kilometers, 6 miles.
6 millimeters. 6 miles.
How big was Putana's body?
6 miles.
How much was that? Anybody remembers or no?
Like, it was like a mountain, 6 miles high mountain.
Yeah, it was
Something
6 or 12 miles. So 12 miles.
12 miles.
So that long Putana body. As Nanda Maharaj is coming back, Nanda Maharaj saw this dead body of this giant demoness. And he instructed all the Gopas, all the cowherd men of Gokula, to bring their axes and swords to cut the body into pieces. And they made a pile of all those body parts of Putana and they burnt the dead body of Putana. So now Putana, she was a demoness. She used to kill babies. She used to drink the blood of the babies and eat the flesh of the babies. But as they burnt the body of Putana, what kind of smell was coming? What do you think? So the fragrant, it's described the fragrance, it was fragrance, not the
Sugandh.
bad smell. It was fragrance coming from the dead body, the burning body of Putana. Even though she was killing the babies, drinking blood and eating flesh, how can the body of Putana smell as fragrant? So it is described the body of Putana was smelling like aguru, like from where we made the incense. So it was smelling like that, very fragrant. Why? What is the reason?
Because she was delivered.
Because Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna personally touched the body of Putana. So why Krishna delivered Putana? What was the qualification of Putana? Even though she came to kill Krishna, she wanted to feed poison to Krishna, but she was delivered.
Feed.
So what was the qualification?
Feeding as a mother.
So she wanted to feed Krishna. So she, even though she wanted to feed poison, but she, in one sense, she offered her milk as a motherly affection also. So Krishna accepted that. You know, what are the other qualifications? Why Krishna accepted that? Even though Putana did not have any bhava. Right? And Krishna is described as Bhavagarahi Janardhana. But why did Krishna accept Putana and delivered Putana? What are the main reasons? It is described that Putana, because she personally came to Krishna, she walked towards Krishna. So Krishna accepted her that bhav. At least she came to me personally. So Krishna accepted that. So if we also walk toward Krishna, we come closer to Krishna, we come to the satsang program, we come to the temple. So as we come closer to Krishna, we walk towards Krishna, Krishna sees our little endeavor. And Krishna accepts that. Another reason why Krishna delivered Putana, he accepted Putana. She wore a kanthi mala. She dressed like a beautiful woman. She was wearing nice kanthi mala. She was wearing nice tilak, urdhva pundraka. So because she wore tulsi kanthi, Krishna accepted. Krishna likes tulsi so much. Whatever offering we make to Krishna, if we put a tulsi leaf on that offering, Krishna accepts that. And Krishna, what does Krishna say? Patram pushpam phalam toyam jo me bhaktya prayachati. If somebody offers me a fruit, flower, leaf. So when Krishna says leaf, patram, what is Krishna specifically talking about? Tulsi patra. Right? So if we offer tulsi patra to Krishna, Krishna accepts that. And same way when the devotees are wearing the nice kanthi mala, tulsi kanthi mala, Krishna is very much pleased with that. And the third thing was she was wearing a beautiful tilak on her forehead. So when we put the tilak on our forehead, what does it represent? That we have surrendered ourselves to Krishna. We accept ourselves as a servant of Krishna. The tilak reminds us of Krishna, and whoever sees us also, they are reminded of Krishna. So because of all these, Krishna accepted Putana and he delivered Putana. And what does Putana really represent? So all these different demons in Krishna Leela, or all these different pastimes, not even demons, even the pastime of Brahma Vimohan Leela, pastime of Govardhan Leela, Krishna destroying the pride of Indra, all these pastimes, they represent something. So what does Putana here specifically represent? We briefly talked about that last time. What does Putana represent? She represents duplicity, duplicitous behavior. Outside, she is something, inside she is something different. Right? Outside she came like a very beautiful woman, like a goddess, Lakshmi Devi. But inside, who is she? She is a demoness. She had ill intention to harm Krishna. Externally, she is showing she has come to nurture Krishna. Internally, she has desire to destroy Krishna. So, it represents the duplicity behavior, duplicitous behavior, or a pseudo guru. Okay, so Putana represents a pseudo guru. How is that? Sometimes somebody may pose himself or herself as your well-wisher, kind of as a guide to you to give you right direction, but internally they have wrong intentions to bewilder you, to show you a wrong path, to put you on a wrong path. So Putana represents duplicious guru. In this material world, there are many people who pose themselves as guru, who claim that we will help you progress spiritually, but eventually they spoil our spiritual journey. So we need to be very careful about these duplicious characters, pseudo gurus. And if we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna shows us the right direction. If in our heart we have the tendency to be cheated, then we will find cheater gurus. If we want to be cheated, there is no dearth of cheaters. But if we have a right intention, we want to sincerely progress toward Krishna, Krishna will show us the path. He will help us reach to a bona fide guru. So Krishna, because as this pseudo guru, Putana came, what were her intention? She was coming as nurturing the babies, but her intention was to kill the babies and to protect all the other babies in Gokula. So she went to the Braj Mandal, all other different villages of Braj Mandal, and she killed many babies. But as soon as she came into Gokula, Krishna directed her to his home first, rather than she going to other houses and killing other babies in Gokul. Because why? If she killed other babies in Gokul, all the other babies who are newborn, same age as Krishna, with whom will Krishna play as he grow up? And all this friends of Krishna, Subala, Madhumangala, Sudham and all that, if they all are killed by Putana, with whom Krishna will play? So Krishna protected all of them and he directed Putana to come to his house first. So Krishna can protect us from the pseudo gurus who can spoil our progress in spiritual path. So the mothers, as they saw this dead body of Putana, they picked up Krishna, and somebody is putting the tails of the cows around Krishna and to see that there is no evil eye, no evil spirit around harming Krishna. So that is mother's love. So after that, as Shukdev Goswami described this Putana Uddhar Katha, Shukdev Goswami narrated the Falashruti. What was the Falashruti? If somebody hear this description of deliverance of Putana, what will happen to that person? If somebody hear these pastimes of Krishna, deliverance of Putana, with full attention, full Shraddha, what will happen to that person? Mrityor Govind labhate ratim. He will attain rati towards Krishna. तो हमारी जो रति है, हमारी जो मति है, हमारी जो गति है, वो भगवान में लग जाएगी. That is the result of hearing this Putana Uddhara Katha. But Parikshit Maharaj, as he heard the Falashruti, Parikshit Maharaj is thinking end of Katha. Shukdev Goswami said Falashruti means it is described at the end. So means he's going to stop Katha. What will happen to me? I want to hear more Katha. So Parikshit Maharaj got anxious. And to encourage Shukdev Goswami to speak more, Parikshit Maharaj said, Shri Raja Uvacha Yena Yena Avatarena Bhagwan Haririshwaraha Karoti Karna Ramyani Manogyani Chanah Prabho. My dear Prabhu, Shukdev Goswami, all these various incarnations of Krishna, the various activities Lord perform in these various incarnations, Bhagwan Haririshwara, all these various incarnations, if somebody hears that, what happens? Karoti Karna Ramyani. All these are very attractive to the ears to hear these various pastimes. Manogyani Chanah Prabhu. And it is very pleasing to the mind also. Why it is so pleasing to the ears and why it is so pleasing to the mind? What happens when we hear Krishna Katha? So Parikshit Maharaj says, Yat Shravanto apeti arater vitrishna. With Trishna. We have some Trishna.
Thirst.
Trishna. The direct meaning of Trishna is what? Pyas, thirst.
Past two.
Thirst of something. Right? We have thirst of something. All our senses, they have their thirst. Eyes have some thirst. Eyes want to see something. Eyes want to watch some movie, some filmy songs, some dance. Ears have some thirst. Ears want to hear some filmy song. Ears want to hear some mundane gossip. That's why so many people are not here. Because they are fulfilling that thirst. So eyes have some thirst, ears have some thirst, the mouth, the tongue has a thirst, tongue want to eat something.
Chatpata.
कुछ ना कुछ चटपटा खाना है. Bread pakora and samosa and kachori. Chole bhature. It's all, the tongue has its thirst. And the hands, the senses, right? The sense of touch has its thirst. We want to touch something soft. We want to touch some object. So all the senses, we have 10 senses. 5 karmendriya, 5 jnanendriya. All these 10 senses, they have their thirst. Actually, Prahlad Maharaj described 7th canto Bhagavatam when we discussed Narsimha Katha. When Prahlad Maharaj offered his prayers to Narsimha Dev, Prahlad Maharaj said, I don't want any benediction of this material world. I don't want any object of sense enjoyment. Why? Because all these senses are already troubling so much. All these 10 senses are like the 10 wives. आजकल एक पत्नी के साथ रहना मुश्किल है to fulfill all the needs and desires of wife. And imagine if there are 10 wives. If somebody goes to the house, there are 10 wives and all the 10 wives are pulling in 10 different directions. I want this, I want this, I want that. So all these 10 senses are like the 10 wives. They pull the person in different directions. So all the 10 senses have their thirst. But when we hear about Krishna, when we engage in service of Krishna, what happens? Yat shrunvato apeti arattair vritrishna. All that trishna, all that thirst of senses is satisfied. Sattvam cha shuddhati achirena pumsaha. And one's mind also becomes purified. Sattvam cha shuddhyate. One's existence becomes purified. Just hearing about Krishna, this Krishna Katha, hearing Bhagavatam, hearing Ram Katha is so purifying. No other process can be equal to that process. No matter for how many years somebody does austerity, that purification does not come. People go to many holy places, they take dip in the holy rivers. People may perform many such austerities, but purity of the heart does not arrive. But by hearing Krishna Katha, our mind becomes purified, our existence becomes purified. And Parikshit Maharaj is saying, Bhaktir harau tat purushe. And it generates, it develops bhakti in the heart towards the Supreme Lord. भगवान के प्रति रति उत्पन्न होती है, भक्ति उत्पन्न होती है. और साथ में क्या होता है? च साख्यम. And one develops friendship with the devotees of the Lord. People in this world are always quarreling, fighting. On small things, people are fighting with each other. Even in devotee community, sometimes we see if the person does not have the right intention, they are also fighting with each other. But when we sit together, when we hear Krishna Katha together, we develop friendly relationship with each other. And that is the purpose of hearing Hari Katha, Krishna Katha, Ram Katha, that we all come together and we go united. Otherwise लोग बहुत सारे इकट्ठे हो सकते हैं, देर बहुत सारी भीड़ हो सकती है. Even though so many people are there at same place, but their hearts are not together. भीड़ में भी लोग एक दूसरे अपने आप को क्या महसूस करते हैं? अकेला. They still are alone in that big crowd also. But when we are together hearing Hari Katha, our hearts become united. So we all go united. And we develop friendly relationship with each other. And what kind of friendly relationship with devotees, among devotees should be? In Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami described the 6 exchanges between the devotees, as a loving exchanges, the friendly exchanges. What are those 6 exchanges? दधाति प्रतिग्रहणाति गुह्यम आख्याति प्रयच्छति भुंक्ते भोज्यते चैव षड्विधिम प्रीति लक्षणम. There are षड्विधा प्रीति लक्षणम. These are the 6 exchanges of love. What are these 6 exchanges? Dadhati pratigrahanati. Offering charity, receiving charity. Means offering gifts, receiving gifts. So on particular occasions, giving gift to others, appreciating, acknowledging them, and receiving gifts from them on particular occasions. So exchanging gifts among each other. Guhyam akhyati prachati. Opening our heart, opening our mind, right? Disclosing our heart. I have this problem. I have this feeling in my heart. I have this doubt in my heart. So opening our heart, exchanging those emotions, and then bhunkte bhajyate chaeva, offering food to them, receiving food from them, exchanging prasadam, right? So inviting the devotees at our home, serving them, visiting their home, and receiving prasadam from them. So we should be open in these 6 exchanges. How many of you are really open in these 6 exchanges? Have we all invited each other at our homes as a friendly relationship? Have we exchanged gifts with each other? Have we opened our heart with each other? We may be coming there together for years and years, but if we are not opening up to that, it means we have not really come to that standard, come to that process yet. If we have that somewhere in the heart, that reservation, yes, I am going there, but let me just keep my space. Let me maintain my space. So, when we are sitting together hearing Krishna Katha, the whole purpose is we develop friendly relationship also with the devotees. Sakhyam te. And then, tad evam haram vadamanyase chet. And then our whole mind becomes purified. Our existence becomes purified. That is my opinion. Parikshit Maharaj is saying, that is my opinion. If you think I am eligible candidate, I am a worthy candidate, please speak more about Krishna Katha. I want to hear more of Krishna Katha. Please describe to me all the various childhood pastimes of Krishna. So then Shukdev Goswami congratulated Parikshit Maharaj. Very nice. You have a strong desire to hear. You are the right candidate. I will speak more about Krishna Katha, more wonderful pastimes of Krishna. And then Shukdev Goswami describes another Krishna Leela, how Krishna broke another toy sent by Kamsa. And this Leela happens at 3 months, when Krishna is of the age of 3 months. And what is that Leela? Anybody knows? So Krishna destroyed or broke the first toy at the age of 6-day-old. And the second toy he broke at the age of 3-month-old. So 3 months, at the age of 3 months, it was the day of same nakshatra in which Krishna was born. Rohini nakshatra. Not the birth day of Krishna, but the same nakshatra as the birthday. Rohini nakshatra. At the duration of 3 months of age. And that was the day when Krishna took first turn. जब भगवान ने बालक रूप में पहली करवट ली. See, baby, when it is very small baby, you just put the baby on the bed, baby is just lying like that. Right? Baby doesn't turn on sides. Then at particular stage, then the baby starts to take turn. जब पहली तरफ बार turn लेते हैं. So at the age of 3 months, that particular day on the same nakshatra, Rohini nakshatra, Krishna took first turn. And Mother Yashoda saw Krishna taking first turn. She was very happy. My boy, my baby is growing up. And it is an occasion of celebration. Devotees को क्या चाहिए? भगवान का उत्सव मनाने का बहाना चाहिए. To celebrate some other occasion, they just need an excuse. So Mother Yashoda thought, this is the occasion of celebration. I need to celebrate. So she called the Brahmanas and she prepared the bhoja. Now as she is preparing all this celebration, she is busy with all this celebration. Krishna is a small baby and babies generally tend to sleep. So Mother Yashoda thought I will be busy with all these celebration, all these preparations, and I should put Krishna safely somewhere where he can keep lying, keep sleeping peacefully. So she saw one bullock cart. No bulls were attached to that. It's just empty bullock cart with lot of pots kept on that bullock cart. Pots filled with yogurt, milk, butter. So all these pots are there on that bullock cart, and underneath it was nice shade away from sun, because you're all sitting here, maybe you are troubled by the sunlight, you want to get into the shade. So Mother Yashoda put the baby, she put a nice cloth under that, on the ground, under that shade of the bullock cart, and kept baby Krishna there. So baby Krishna is lying there and Mother Yashoda is busy preparing all these nice arrangements, calling the Brahmana. So Brahmana have come, they are reciting the Swasti Vachan, the yajna is going on. Mother Yashoda prepared nice feast for everybody, all the Brajvasis has come. So Nand Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, they served the Brahmanas. Again Nand Maharaj gave lot of charity to the Brahmanas. See, at the time of Krishna's birth, just 3 months back, Nand Maharaj gave so much charity. And we discussed the importance of charity. Right? What is the significance of charity? Whom the charity should be given, and what is the best charity? So what is the best charity? You all still remember? Or in few days we all forgot? What is the best charity?
Offering Krishna Katha. We're talking about
Yes,
Krishna.
giving the knowledge of Krishna. Right? Giving Krishna to others, that is the best charity. So if we ourselves, we feel I don't have that qualification, I cannot sit on the Vyasasana and speak, elaborate Krishna Katha, we can help others who are doing that. So that is the best charity. Giving books, right? Giving Bhagavad Gita to others, giving Bhagavatam to others,
Or offering money for the
offering money for spreading
yeah.
Krishna consciousness. So serving Krishna in that way, that is the best charity. Not that we think, okay, now this thing is not of any use to me, so let me give that to others. मेरे किसी काम का नहीं है तो मैं दूसरों के सर पर मर दूं इसको. Like sometimes people, right, when the cow is of no much use, cow has stopped giving milk, they go and donate the cow in the Goshala. We are giving cow as gift, as charity. So what kind of charity is that? And another thing, actually another very beautiful example how people deal with the charity part is, see, sometime when you are exchanging something, right, buying something, by mistake you got some note which is torn. किसी को 50 रुपए का 100 रुपए का नोट मिल गया जो फटा हुआ है. तो घर पे आकर पता चला, पहले ध्यान नहीं दिया कि नोट फटा हुआ है, घर पे आकर चला, अरे ये तो फटा हुआ नोट है, अभी इसका क्या करेंगे. तो सोचते हैं कल सब्जी वाला आएगा, राइट, टुमारो सम व्हाट इज दैट ठेले वाला आएगा, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, द हॉकर विल कम. सो उससे सब्जी खरीदेंगे और उसको ये नोट पकड़ा देंगे. तो अगले दिन ठेले वाला आता है, सब्जी लेते हैं, उसको नोट पकड़ाते हैं. ठेले वाला बोलता है, अरे माता जी ये नहीं चलेगा, फटा हुआ नोट नहीं चलेगा, कोई और दो. ना उसको बस सोचते चलो किसी किराने की दुकान पर जाएंगे, उसके ऊपर चला देंगे. किराने वाला ऑल्सो ही टेक्स दैट नोट, अरे माता जी ये नहीं चलेगा, बहन जी ये नोट नहीं चलेगा. सो देन यू ट्राई टू गिव टू रिक्शा वाला. रिक्शा वाले को बोलते हैं, अरे भैया ये लो. रिक्शा वाला बोलता है, बाबूजी ये फटा हुआ नोट नहीं चलेगा, गिव मी सम अदर. तो बोलते हैं, अरे सब जगह ट्राई कर लिया, ये नोट नहीं चल रहा, अभी इसका मैं क्या करूँ. तो कल मंदिर में जाना है, संडे आ रहा है, संडे फीस प्रोग्राम, विल गो टू टेम्पल. तो और तो कहीं ये नोट चला नहीं, चलो ये 50 रुपये भगवान की हुंडी में डाल देंगे, चैरिटी हो जाएगी, डोनेशन हो जाएगी. So that is the mentality generally, right? People, we think this is of not of any use to me, चलो भगवान को दे देंगे ये. So all these pennies, right, single pennies and all because we think एक पैनी का क्या करेंगे, कहाँ पर चलेगा, चलो हुंडी में डाल दो, और तो कहीं चलेगा नहीं है. तो जितना चिल्लड़ होता है वो भगवान की हुंडी में डाल दो. So charity, Nanda Maharaj is teaching charity should be of uttam type, the greatest type charity. So Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maiya, they served the Brahmanas, again gave them lot of charity, and they are sharing their happiness with others. It was a moment of happiness for them. Mother saw, my son is taking the first turn, so it's celebration. So sharing happiness. So there are three things which we should always try to share with others. Because sharing those things, they never decrease. Actually, more and more you share those three things, they increase. What are those three things? One is happiness. Happiness you share with others, it increases. But somehow in Kali Yuga, people have a perverted reflection, perverted mentality. They think अगर किसी को हमारे इस खुशी के बारे में पता चला तो उनकी नज़र लग जाएगी, हमारी happiness कम हो जाएगी. Right? So people don't share their happiness. They want to keep it to themselves. So happiness, more you share with others, it increases. And the biggest happiness is what? Sharing Krishna consciousness. More you share it with others, you feel that ecstasy, that bliss. And others can also feel that bliss. And it is related to the second type of thing also. More you share, it increases. That is knowledge. So first is happiness. More you share your happiness, it increases. Second thing is knowledge. ज्ञान को जितना दूसरों में बांटो, ज्ञान बढ़ता है. Again we think, अरे अगर मैंने दूसरों के साथ शेयर किया, they will also know the same thing what I know. Then it will lead to competition. So better I keep it to myself. Let others should not know. But again, knowledge, more you share with others, it increases. And the third thing is our wealth. More you share your wealth with others, more you give charity. भगवान के लिए, काम के लिए आप जितना दान देते हो, ऐसा नहीं है कि आपका धन कम हो जाएगा. Your wealth increases more you give in charity. Have you seen somebody who has given some donation to Krishna and he became empty? Have you seen anybody? Actually, they become more and more wealthier. Sudama, what had Sudama? Sudama gave Sattu to Krishna. Right, the flat chipped rice to Krishna. And what did he get in exchange?
Mention.
Big mansion. So more we give, it increases. So these three things should always be shared. Happiness, knowledge and wealth. More we share, more it increases. So Mother Yashoda is doing this pastime, this Leela, to set that example, set that point. She is sharing her joy of Krishna consciousness. So as she is celebrating, she is busy in that. On the other side, Krishna, who was lying under that bullock cart, Krishna, he woke up, he opened his eyes, saw himself lying under the bullock cart, and Krishna actually became angry. Krishna is thinking, I was living in Goloka Vrindavan, I am sitting in the golden thrones, I am sleeping on the golden beds. Here, Mother Yashoda is keeping me on the ground, and Krishna saw this bullock cart on his head, and Krishna kicked that bullock cart. All the pots of the milk and yogurt and butter which were lying on that bullock cart, they all went in the sky and then they fell into the ground making loud noise. And Mother Yashoda came running there. What has happened? All the Brajavasis, they were surprised how all of a sudden this bullock cart went into the sky and fell into the ground and broke into pieces. And all these little children, other children were playing there. And this we saw it. Krishna did it. We saw, he kicked the bullock cart and the bullock cart smashed into pieces. All the Brajavasis, they heard the talks of these little children and they could not believe. These are little children, they are just gullible, they are just talking anything. Nobody believed, and Mother Yashoda picked up little children thinking, is my baby Krishna safe? Is he safe? So she picked up Krishna, again she fed him the milk, thinking that Krishna is okay. But in the background, what has happened actually? The bullock cart, what was this bullock cart? So in Garg Samhita, as mentioned in Brahma Vaivarta Puran, it described this bullock cart. What was this bullock cart? It was a demon which was again sent by Kamsa. This demon, he was bodiless, like a ghostly form. Its name was Utkacha. You want to know about the previous life of this demon also. So that's what we are going to do. Every demon we are going to talk about its previous life, who this demon really is. And then that is a Sattvic Artha. But then Tattvic Artha, what does this demon represent? So from the Sattvic story point of view, right, from the storyline point of view, that bullock cart actually was a demon sent by Kamsa. His name was Utkacha. He was a bodiless. And he just assumed the body of this bullock cart. He saw this bullock cart, he entered into that bullock cart, assumed the body, the shape of that bullock cart. And he was thinking, I am going to drop this bullock cart on Krishna and kill Krishna in that way. But Krishna just kicked that demon in the shape of the bullock cart and killed that demon. Now in his previous life, this demon, his name was Utkacha, he was a son of Hiranyaksha. Once he went to the ashram of Lomas Rishi, and he has a giant body, and he started uprooting the trees and starting throwing those trees here and there and started destroying that hermitage. And Lomas Rishi became very angry and he cursed that demon to lose that giant body for which he was so proud of. So that demon, he lost his body, he just came into the spirit form, the ghostly form, without being any body, bodiless. And he fell down at the feet of Lomas Rishi, please forgive me, please. And Lomas Rishi said, after 5,000 years, and when Krishna comes in, appears as Lord Krishna, when the Lord is going to appear as Krishna, you will be delivered by the kick of the lotus feet of the Lord. So this demon, he was in the form of being bodiless, and that's how he was delivered by the feet of Krishna. Now Bhakti Vinod Thakur described what does this demon represent. So what does this demon represent? It represents the cartload full of the old and new bad habits which we develop. Some of the previous bad habits we may have, and the new bad habits sometimes we develop. So it represents the cartload full of the old and bad habits which we carry on, because of which we are not able to progress in spiritual life. So we have some bad habits, that conditioning which we are carrying on. Somehow we are not giving up that conditioning, those bad habits, and in the process we develop some bad habits, new bad habits also. Somebody has a habit of smoking, not able to give up that bad habit, that conditioning. Somebody has a habit of drinking. Somebody has a habit of watching some pornography, the ashleel things. What do you say? So all these bad habits, if somebody is carrying that cartload full of those bad habits, that represent Shaktasura. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that time there was one Shaktasura. Now in every household there is a Shaktasura. Right? Everybody, somewhere, somehow we have some old and new bad habits which we keep developing. And how those bad habits can be destroyed really? When we come in touch of Krishna's feet, then that cartload of bad habits can be destroyed. When we come at the feet of Krishna. Once there was a king. King received 2 birds in gift. It's a parrot. And these parrots were little babies and they did not know how to fly. So Krishna, the king, hired a trainer to teach the birds to fly. So after a few months, the king called the trainer. What is the situation of those birds? Are they able to fly now? And that person said, one of the parrot is flying nicely, he gets high in the sky. The other bird, other parrot, he goes little bit and just come down. He is not ready to fly. I have tried all my best and I am not able to make him fly. So then the king announced in the whole kingdom that whoever will make this other second parrot also make him fly, I will award him profusely. So many people from the kingdom came, many great scholars and all that. They tried to make that bird fly. But again, that parrot will fly and come back, sit on that branch of the tree, will not fly, he just keeps sitting there. He got conditioned, comfort zone. So what is some of these bad habits? Some are really bad habits, some are very subtle, like the laziness, lethargy. Those also represents a cartload full of bad habits. So this bird, he got so conditioned, he will not fly. So many people tried. Once a farmer came. Farmer said, I will try. I will make this bird fly. And next day the king came and he saw this second parrot was also flying high in the sky with the first parrot. And king was very surprised. So many people tried so much. They were not able to make that bird fly. Now this bird, this small farmer, insignificant person, he made this bird fly. So he called the farmer, how did you make that happen? He said, I just cut down that branch on which this bird was so much conditioned of sitting. So I just cut down that branch and this bird did not find that branch and he flew in the sky. So that is what the Guru does. Sometimes the Guru may be harsh. Sometimes our senior devotees, they may be very upfront, very blank in telling us, Prabhu, you have this wrong thing, you need to give up this thing. You are so much conditioned to this, so you need to fix this habit. Sometimes they may tell us upfront, we may not like that. But what are they doing? They are cutting down that branch which has caused us so much conditioning so that we can take next step in Krishna consciousness. We can progress in Krishna consciousness. So we should have open heart, receptive. When you hear some criticism from senior devotees, you should be in the receptive mood. That is for our benefit. To cut down that branch of conditioning. So this Shaktasura, what does it represent? It's a cartload full of old and new bad habits which we develop. And we need to give up those to progress in spiritual life, and that can be given up when we take shelter of the devotees of the Lord, when we take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So Krishna delivered Shaktasura as a 3-month-old baby. Again, remember the pastimes of Krishna. 6-day-old he killed Putana. 3-month-old he delivered Shaktasura. Small baby, what is the strength in the lips of a 6-day-old baby? What is the strength in the legs of a 3-month-old baby? But here Lord, even though he may be in the form of a small baby, he is the Supreme Lord. He is the most powerful. And then as the time is passing by, Krishna turned 1-year-old. First birthday of Krishna. But there is no celebration as a huge celebration. Mother Yashoda is not doing as a big celebration. So Mother Yashoda was keeping Krishna on her lap and feeding Krishna. And now Krishna showed another wonderful Leela. Krishna became so heavy that Mother Yashoda could not handle the weight of Krishna. Mother Yashoda thought, what is this happening? It feels like the mountain. So she could not hold Krishna on her lap and she put Krishna on the ground and she went to do her household chores. And at that time, the third toy sent by Kamsa appeared there in the form of a whirlwind demon, Tarnavrata. So this demon, he assumed the form of a whirlwind, tornado. So the big gust of wind came as if flying everything away. And within a blink of eye, Tarnavrat picked up that baby Krishna, which was lying on the ground. And by taking that small baby Krishna, 1-year-old baby Krishna, Tarnavrat went into the sky high. And Mother Yashoda is thinking, where did my baby go? I just left the baby there and the wind has blown the baby away. And this Tarnavrata, he took the baby in the sky, and as Krishna in this whirlwind is going high and high in the sky, Krishna started to gain weight. Krishna started to increase its weight. And this whirlwind demon Tarnavrata could no longer carry Krishna. Krishna became so heavy, this whirlwind could not even fly anymore. And he could not drop Krishna also. Krishna with his hands, he held on to the throat of this Tarnavrata, started choking Tarnavrata. So this demon is thinking, this baby is becoming so heavy, cannot carry this baby any longer and he cannot drop him also. Krishna is holding on to the throat and he started choking. And then Krishna just had a big blow and this whole Tarnavrata fell down to the ground dead. and baby Krishna lying on the chest of this whirlwind demon, Tarnavrata, is playing there. And Mother Yashoda, all the gopis, they were running to see where this baby has gone in this whole whirlwind. As they saw Krishna coming there and sitting there, they picked up the baby. That it is the mercy of Narayan, it's the mercy of Vishnu, that somehow he is protecting our baby. They're thinking Krishna, they don't think Krishna as the Supreme Lord. They think our baby has special mercy of Vishnu, he is always protected by Vishnu. So Krishna destroyed Tarnavrata at the age of 1 year old. And what does this Tarnavrata represent? So from the storyline point of view again, this Tarnavrata in his previous life, he was the king of Pandya Desha named Sahasraksha. Once Durvasa Muni was visiting that place and this king, he was enjoying with his wives, and Durvasa Muni saw the king in a shameful condition, in a naked condition, and Durvasa Muni cursed this king to become a demon. But again he blessed him also, saying, you will be delivered by the Supreme Lord personally when the Lord appears. So that king, he appeared as Tarnavrata, as the king who was sent by Kamsa to destroy this baby, and Krishna killed that demon, delivered that demon also. But now what does this demon represent? What does Tarnavrata represent?
Activities that the king did, like somewhere in that line, shamefulness or...
Right. So Tarnavrata represent the pride because of some scholarships, the pride because of the opulences. So it represents that pride. And how Krishna spoil that pride, destroy that pride? Sometimes Krishna take that person high, even higher, make that person very popular. As Krishna took Tarnavrata high in the sky, Tarnavrata was thinking, I am taking Krishna high in the sky. Actually, it is Krishna who is taking Tarnavrata high in the sky. So Krishna sometimes take that person who is very proud of his achievements, his scholarships. So Krishna make them popular. Krishna take them high. But then Krishna make them fall from that height. Smash them to the ground. Destroy all their pride.
This is the tattvic meaning, right?
That is the tattvic meaning of this whole pastime. So as a devotee, we should always stay humble, that we are the servants of Krishna, not becoming pride of our achievement, not become pride of our engagement in devotional service also. Because that can cause the fall down of a devotee. So keeping a very danya bhav, a very humble position, we should engage in the service of Krishna. So Tarnavrata represent false pride because of our achievements, our scholarship, which are destroyed by Krishna. So if we have humility in the mind, Krishna does not let that false pride come in the heart. So Krishna helped the devotees to destroy that false pride and help them progress in path of bhakti. So Krishna performed all these wonderful, wonderful pastimes. Of 1 year has passed, there is no naming ceremony of Krishna yet. So how is everybody calling Krishna? Lalla. Somebody is calling Krishna Kalua. Because of Krishna's blackish complexion, so they call Krishna as Kalua. Somebody is calling just in Braj Bhasha, right? In Vrindavan, Braj Bhasha, they call Lalla, Lali. So Lala or Lali. So if it's a boy, they call Lala. If it's a girl, they call Lali. That is a general name. So,
Lalli.
Lala and Lali.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Radharani, she is referred as Lali, right? She is Lali. Kishori ji, so she is addressed as Lali. But Krishna, his 1 year has passed and no naming ceremony is done. So one day, Vasudev ji, he inspires Garga Muni to go to Gokul to meet Nanda Maharaj And as Garga Muni, inspired by Vasudev ji, comes to Gokul, Nanda Maharaj is very happy seeing Garga Muni. And he receives Garga Muni very nicely, serves him, and he requests Garga Muni that somehow you have been sent here, you have arrived here in my home, I have a desire. अगर आप आ ही गए हैं तो हमारा एक काम करके जाइए. क्या काम? हमारा लल्ला, इसका जन्म हुए 1 साल हो गया, 1 वर्ष बीत गया, अभी तक उसका नामकरण नहीं हुआ, अभी तक उसका नामकरण संस्कार नहीं हुआ. सो आई हैव अ डिजायर, यू प्लीज डू द नेमिंग सेरेमनी ऑफ अवर लल्ला. इवन रोहिणी's son, his naming ceremony is also not done. So we have 2 boys in our home, their naming ceremony is not done, you please do the naming ceremony for these 2 boys. And Garga Muni, hearing the request of Nanda Maharaj, what did Garga Muni say? Shri Garga Uvacha Yadunamaham Acharya Khyatascha Bhuvi Sarvatha Suta Mayam Sanskritam Te Manyate Devaki Sutam. So Garga Muni said, it is very popular everywhere that I am the Kul Purohit of वसुदेव जी, यदुवंश, कि मैं यदुवंश का कुल पुरोहित हूँ, उनका कुल गुरु हूँ. इफ आई डू द नेमिंग सेरेमनी ऑफ योर बॉयज हियर, कंस में थिंक दैट दीज 2 बॉयज आर द चिल्ड्रंस ऑफ देवकी. सो सुतमयम संस्कृतम ते, अगर मैंने आपके पुत्रों का नामकरण संस्कार किया, उनका संस्कार किया, मन्यते देवकी सुतम, कंसा विल थिंक, वो उनका ऐसा मानना हो जाएगा कि ये देव की पुत्र हैं, एंड ही विल बिकम एनिमी ऑफ देम. सो आई डोंट थिंक इट इज़ सूटेबल, मैं नहीं सोचता कि ये उचित है कि मेरे द्वारा आपके पुत्रों का नामकरण संस्कार हो. अब नंद महाराज ने जैसे उनका ये उत्तर सुना तो नंद महाराज ने बोला, नहीं नहीं, आप किसी तरह से हमारे पुत्रों का नामकरण कीजिए, हम ऐसा कुछ अरेंजमेंट करेंगे, विल मेक सच अरेंजमेंट, नोबडी विल कम टू नो, जस्ट सीक्रेटली perform the naming ceremony of these 2 boys. Now Yashoda Mai, she wanted to do a big celebration. So every occasion should be a big celebration. Hey, लल्ला का नामकरण संस्कार है, it's a big संस्कार नामकरण ceremony. But now what can be done? It has to be done secretly. So Nanda Maharaj said, we will keep it very secret, no big celebration, we will not invite anybody. You just quietly, secretly in our cow shed, चुपके से हमारी गौशाला में एक कोने पर बैठकर आप बच्चों का नामकरण कर दीजिए. So Nanda Maharaj requested like that. And then finally Garga Muni said, okay, I will fulfill your desire, I will do the naming ceremony. So please arrange. So in the cow shed, in one corner, Nanda Maharaj put a seat for Garga Muni to sit. Asked Yashoda Mai and Rohini to bring their 2 children, both the children. And Yashoda Mai is thinking, what is this happening? This naming ceremony so quietly, no big celebration. And Nanda Maharaj has requested this Babaji, Garga Muni, to do the naming ceremony. Garga Muni is known for his astrological knowledge. ज्योतिष का बहुत ज्ञान है उनको. So Gargacharya, he is Acharya, Jyotish Acharya, having a lot of knowledge of astrology. But Yashoda Mai, she has a very loving affection for the children, right? अपने पुत्र के प्रति इतना प्रेम भाव है, वो सोचती है कौन से बाबा जी को नंद महाराज ने बोल दिया नेमिंग सेरेमनी करने के लिए, उनको कुछ आता जाता भी है कि नहीं. लेट्स डू लिटिल टेस्ट, कि हम उनको थोड़ा परीक्षा लेते हैं. सो शी टोल्ड रोहिणी, यू गिव योर चाइल्ड टू मी एंड यू कीप माई चाइल्ड इन योर लैप. अपना पुत्र तुम मुझे दे दो और मेरा पुत्र तुम अपनी गोद में रखो, देखते ही बाबा जी को पता भी चलता है कि नहीं. अपने आप को बहुत बड़ा एस्ट्रोलॉजर बोलते हैं, बहुत बड़ा ज्ञानी बोलते हैं, तो उनको ये पता भी चलेगा कि कौन सा किसका बालक है कि नहीं. सो दे ब्रॉट द 2 children. रोहिणी इज सिटिंग विद कृष्णा, हु इज नॉट नेम्ड एज कृष्णा येट. सो रोहिणी इज कीपिंग the son of Yashoda in her lap and Yashoda is keeping son of Rohini in her lap. So they came there. Garg Muni looked at both the children. बच्चे तो ठीक ठाक लग रहे हैं, गोद में थोड़ा डिफरेंस लग रहा है, कुछ उल्टा सीधा, कुछ उल्टा पुल्टा हो गया है. So Garga Muni, he started giving the naming, he started doing the naming ceremony of both children. The child who is in the lap of Yashoda, so the child who is in the lap of Yashoda, because he will have all the great qualities and he will give pleasure to everybody with his qualities, his name will be Ram. Ram means जो दूसरों को आनंद दे,
रमता है.
जो दूसरों को रमता है, उनके मन को रमता है, उनके मन को आनंद दे. So his name will be Ram, and because he will be the dham of Bala, because he will be very powerful, he will be also called Bala, and combining together Bala and Ram, he will be known as Balaram. So the child in the lap of Yashoda, who is actually the son of Rohini, he will be named as Balaram. And because he will unite the families of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev Maharaj, because he is doing the act of uniting, he will be also known as Sankarsana. So that is the child of Rohini. Now the second child. Garg Muni looked at the second child in the lap of Rohini. Just looking at the child, Garg Muni went into trance. नंद महाराज जब थोड़ी देर तक गर्ग मुनि नहीं बोले, नंद महाराज ने उनको हिलाया डुलाया, अरे एक दूसरे बालक का भी नामकरण बचा है, कहाँ चले गए आप, प्लीज गिव द नेम फॉर द सेकंड चाइल्ड ऑल्सो. So Garga Muni came out of trance and again looked at the child, and then Garga Muni said, this child, as Garga Muni is about to speak, to reveal who this child is, he was just going to say, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna looked eye to eye in Garga Muni's eyes and indicated, don't reveal my identity. ये मैया बाबा के सामने ये मत बता देना कि मैं अखिल ब्रह्मांड का अधिपति स्वामी हूँ, अखिल ब्रह्म नायक हूँ. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because what will happen? If they know I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, मैं परम भगवान हूँ, तो क्या होगा? लोगों को जब पता चलता है कि ये भगवान है, भगवान के साथ क्या करते हैं? उनको अलमारी में बंद कर देते हैं. Right? In one corner of their house, in one cabinet somewhere, they put some deity of the Lord. थोड़ी देर के लिए उस अलमारी को खोलेंगे, धूप बत्ती करेंगे और फिर से बंद कर देंगे. तो लोग उनको अलमारी में बंद कर देते हैं, उनको एक मंदिर में आसन पर बिठा देते हैं. आई हैव कम हियर टू रेलिश द पैटर्नल अफेक्शन. वात्सल्य भाव को मज़ा लेने के लिए, उसका आनंद लेने के लिए मैं यहाँ पर आया हूँ, अलमारी में बंद होने के लिए नहीं. सो डोंट टेल देम व्हाट इज़ माई रियल आइडेंटिटी. एंड देन गर्ग मुनि, he said, this child, he has many times he have appeared. So nobody will doubt this. Everybody keep coming in various forms, right? Rebirth concept. So this child has appeared many times, and in various appearances he has assumed many different colors. So Garg Muni indirectly tells that who is Krishna. Asanvarnas trayohayasya grahanato anuyagam tanyuh shuklo raktastatha pita idanim krishnatam gatah. This child has appeared in many time earlier, and he has assumed many different colors. Once he appeared in the white color, another time he appeared as raktas in the red color, and then tatha pitah, and he has appeared in the yellow, golden complexion also. Now he has appeared in the blackish complexion. So indirectly Garga Muni told that this child is the Supreme Lord who appears yuga after yuga in various forms, and he assumes various different colors. So Shukla, Raktas, Tatha, Pita. So just three primary color he indicated, but Lord appears in many different color, like the Shuka in the color of a parrot, green color. What was that? In Treta Yuga, Lord Ram appeared in green color, right? His complexion was greenish complexion. Then the Shukla, the white color, what is that appearance of the Lord? That is considered as Nar Narayan in Satya Yuga, or even Vaman Dev. When Vaman Dev appeared, had a white complexion. Then Raktas, the red complexion. What is the red complexion appearance of the Lord? Rishabha Garbha. The, what do we call, Prishni Garbha, not Rishabha, Prishni Garbha. Because Lord Krishna told Vasudeva and Devaki, you have three boons, right? Or I will appear 3 times as per the bone. First time I appeared as Prishni Garbha. So that time Lord appeared as red color. Second time he appeared as Kashyap and Aditi's son Vaman Dev. He appeared as white color. And then Pita color is for the future, indicating in Kali Yuga, Lord is going to appear as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a golden complexion, golden avatar. He will have golden complexion, Pita color. And now in this Yuga, Krishna has appeared in his form, in his color, as Megha Varna, blackish complexion, blackish bluish complexion. So this child, he has appeared many times in different complexion, and his name, what is going to be his name? Idanim Krishna Tam Gataha, because he has appeared in this complexion. His name will be Krishna, which has this 2 syllable Krishna, who is going to attract everybody. So Krishna, Sarva Akarshati iti Krishna, who attracts everybody, that is Krishna. And Mother Yashoda heard the name, Garga Muni gave the name Krishna. It's a little tongue twisting, Krishna. It is very difficult name. I want some easy name. आजकल भी यही मेंटेलिटी रहती है माताओं की. बालक का नामकरण करो, जितना मर्जी अच्छे से अच्छा नाम ढूंढ के रख दो. लगता है एक छोटा सा निक नेम तो चाहिए, एक घर का नाम, पेट नेम, एक पक्का नाम, एक कच्चा नाम. राइट, इंडिया में जैसे बोलते हैं ये हमारा पक्का नाम है, ये कच्चा नाम है. इन द पेपर्स दैट इज द नेम, एंड फॉर एज अ अफेक्शन हाउ पीपल कॉल, दैट इज अ निक नेम. So Mother Yashoda, Krishna, okay, that is okay, but it's very difficult. I want some easy name. So Garga Muni said, okay, you can call him Kanha, Kanhaiya. So you can call him with those names. आजकल तो किसी का नाम कृष्णा रखो तो उसको बिगाड़ के पूरी तरह ही बिगाड़ देते. किची किची, कृष, कृष्णा becomes Krish. So everybody, they want little easygoing name. So Mother Yashoda also wanted easygoing name. So she addressed Krishna not by the name Krishna all her life. By what name? Kanha or Kanhaiya. So कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय. तो भगवान का नामकरण संस्कार हुआ. You want to hear more?
Yeah.
What is the time?
1:00
Okay, so 1 ही घंटा हुआ है. We are halfway. Do you really want to hear more, or should we stop?
1:30 घंटा हो गया ना, 11:37.
No, that is Kirtan.
11:30 कहाँ शुरू हुआ है?
Okay, so anyways, so we need to increase our stamina for hearing Krishna Katha. 2 hours is too much, right?
No.
It's more than personal.
So you all need the shade of the bullock cart.
No, it's good. It's okay.
Okay, so we'll discuss a little bit more. So Krishna's naming ceremony happened finally. Now we have discussed about Krishna's appearance, Krishna's naming ceremony. But in Krishna Leela is incomplete without talking about Radharani. Right? If we want to understand Krishna, how we can understand Krishna? By hearing about Krishna. But if we really want to understand Krishna, we have to understand Radharani also. Because who is Radharani? She is the pleasure potency of Krishna, Aladini Shakti. The Lord has 3 potencies: internal energy, external energy, and marginal energy. So internally also Krishna's energy are of 3 divisions. See, Krishna, even every living entity, we say Sat Chit Anand. We are full of eternity, bliss and knowledge. So the energy which relate with eternity, that energy, that is called the Sandhini Shakti. Sandhini Shakti of the Lord, which relate to the eternity. And the energy which relate to knowledge, Chit, that is called Samvit Shakti. and the Shakti which relate to the pleasure, that is Haladini Shakti, the pleasure potency of the Lord. So these are the three energies. So if we really want to understand Krishna, we need to understand the pleasure potency of Krishna, the Haladini Shakti, which is Radharani. So to understand Krishna, that's why we hear Bhagavatam. But to understand Radharani, Radharani is nowhere described in Bhagavatam. Right? Why is that? Radharani is not directly described anywhere in Srimad Bhagavatam. The reason of that is when Shukdev Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. Who is Shukdev Goswami? Shukdev Goswami, it is described in Shri Vrindavan Champu by Kavi Karnapurna that Shukdev Goswami, actually it is described in Brahma Vaivarta Purana also, the history of Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami is the parrot of Radharani. That's why it's not just called Shukdev, Shuka. It's called Shri Shuka. Right? When we say Shukdev Uvacha, we don't say Shuka Uvacha. We say Shri Shuka Uvacha. Radharani's parrot spoke. So Shukdev Goswami is the parrot of Radharani. So in the spiritual world, Radharani, on her left hand, she is carrying this parrot. And she is speaking Bhagavatam to this parrot, Shuka. And she is asking this Shuka, Krishna Vad, Krishna Vad. Say Krishna, say Krishna. And then this Shuka will say, Krishna, Krishna. And Radharani will be very pleased. And then she will eat some pomegranate seed. Anar ke dane, right? The parrot likes the pomegranate seed. So the parrot, the Radharani is feeding that pomegranate seed. So this Shukdev Goswami has come in this material world to deliver this Bhagavatam, the nectar of Bhagavatam. Shri Shuk Mukha Amritam Drava Samyutam Pivata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the Rasamalayam, is the house of nectar, and it has been touched by the mouth of Shukdev Goswami. See, any fruit which is touched by the beak of parrot, it becomes sweetened. अगर किसी अमरूद पे तोता अपनी चोंच मार दे तो लोग बोलते हैं ये अमरूद बहुत मीठा होगा, तो तोते ने इसको चोंच मारा है. So it's filled with nectar. So that same Srimad Bhagavatam, which is touched by the mouth of Shukdev Goswami, is very sweetened. It's a nectar. It's a house of nectar. So Shukdev Goswami is the parrot of Radharani. As Shukdev Goswami is speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, he thought, let me talk about the gopis and Srimati Radharani, who were the topmost devotees. But then all these gopis appeared in the consciousness of Shukdev Goswami. Please do not describe us. Please do not talk about us. That is their Danya Bhav. A devotee does not want to be highlighted, glorified. He wants to keep himself covered, hidden. So the gopis said, please do not talk about us. We are very low class, we are very lowly. Please don't talk about us. And then Shukdev Goswami said, maybe I will not talk about them. I will speak about only Radharani. But for speaking about Radharani also, you can speak about Radharani only if the people have little qualification to understand, to hear about Radharani. See, if there are all the devotees sitting, then we can go deep. अगर सब भक्त लोग बैठे हैं तो डीप में तत्व की चर्चा की जा सकती है. बट राधा रानी, राधा तत्व, इट्स अ वेरी हाई सब्जेक्ट मैटर. And in this assembly, so this is Shukdev Goswami thinking. Shukdev Goswami is thinking, in this assembly, there are devatas also have come sitting in the disguise of human beings. There are many sages also have come. Some of the sages are Jnana Vritti. They have more inclination towards Jnana. Some of the sages, they are yogis, Ashtanga Vritti. They have inclination towards Ashtanga Yoga. So not everybody has the devotion in the heart, and Radha Tattva cannot be described like that. So Shukdev Goswami did not speak directly about Radharani. See, as generally when we also speak, right, we keep the topic based on the audience. Right, based on the audience, we kind of tune the topic. We say if all the devotees are sitting, then we can go deep. But if there are a lot of new people are here, new crowd is here, then we keep the topic to very basic level. अगर कोई बाहर से हम कोई गेस्ट स्पीकर को भी बुलाते हैं and the guest speaker asks, प्रभु जी कौन सा टॉपिक पे बोलूँ? So what topic should I speak? We tell Prabhu ji, there are mixed crowd. There are devotees who are chanting 16 mala. There are people who are initiated, second initiated also. And there are many people who are newcomers who are chanting maybe 1 mala, 2 mala. So that is the situation. Now you judge yourself. Yatha ichha tatha kuru. I have described to you. Now you do as you like. So you gauge accordingly. So Shukdev Goswami also gauged all the audience sitting there. What is the capacity of those audience? They are not capable of maybe hearing about Radharani in detail. So he did not describe Radharani in detail or even directly. But the another reason, even though people have qualification, another reason why Shukdev Goswami did not utter the name Radharani in this whole 7-day Bhagavad discourse to Parikshit Maharaj, because Shukdev Goswami is the parrot of Radharani. As Shukdev Goswami remembers her master, her guru, Radharani is guru of Shukdev Goswami. As he remember her, as soon as Shukdev Goswami will utter the name of Radharani, he will go into trance. So it is described that Shukdev Goswami जैसे ही राधा नाम लेंगे तो 6 महीने की समाधि में चले जाएंगे. श्री राधा नाम मात्रेण मूर्छा षड मासिकी भवेत. तो 6 महीने की समाधि में चले जाएंगे, मूर्छा में चले जाएंगे. व्हाट विल हैपन टू परीक्षित महाराज? परीक्षित महाराज के पास तो 7 दिन है. तक्षक इज गोइंग टू कम. तक्षक इज नॉट गोइंग टू वेट. जब तक सुखदेव गोस्वामी का प्रोग्राम खत्म नहीं होता मैं अपना प्रोग्राम नहीं करूंगा. तक्षक इज नॉट गोइंग टू थिंक लाइक दैट. तक्षक इज नॉट गोइंग टू वेट कि जब तक सुखदेव गोस्वामी बाहर नहीं आ जाते अपनी समाधि से, अपनी भागवत कथा खत्म नहीं करते, तब तक मैं डसने नहीं जा रहा हूँ. So to give the benediction to Parikshit Maharaj, to give the benefit to speak 7-day katha to Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami did not utter the word Radharani. Because otherwise he will go into trance और Parikshit Maharaj का कार्यक्रम अधूरा रह जाएगा. And then, but Radharani he did not describe directly. Radharani is described indirectly in Srimad Bhagavatam. How is that? In the 10th canto, 31st chapter, this Rasa Panchadhyay, when Krishna plays his flute and calls all the gopis to enjoy with the gopis on the full moon night, autumn day. So Krishna calls all the gopis. And then Krishna leaves the gopis and go away. And all these gopis are singing in separation of Krishna, Viraha Geet, Gopi Geet. So even the Radharani, she is among all those gopis, and this song is actually sung by Radharani with all other gopis. So if we actually want to understand the essence of Bhagavatam, what is the essence of Bhagavatam? See, we say Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Puranas. You understand that? You agree with that? See, Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads and all the Vedas. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is also called as Shri Upanishad, Gita Upanishad. So Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads and Vedas, and Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Puranas, Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. And the essence of Bhagavatam is the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, Dasma Skanda. And the essence of the 10th canto of Bhagavatam is the Gopi Geet, these 19 shlokas of Gopi Geet. And the essence of the Gopi Geet is this one verse of the Gopi Geet, which is sung by Radharani and all other gopis. What is that verse? Tav katha amritam tapta jivanam kabhi bhiriditam kalmashapaham shravana mangalam shrimadatam bhuvi grananti ye bhurida jana. The glories of Lord Krishna, they are like the medicine. They are like the water for pacifying this forest fire of this material world. We are burning in this material world. And this Krishna Katha is like the water to put off that fire. Tav Katha अमृतम तप्त जीवनम, हमारे तपते हुए जीवन के लिए वो अमृत के समान है। हमारे जीवन के जितने भी कल्मश हैं उन सबको खत्म करने के लिए वो औषधि के समान है। एंड पीपल हु आर ग्लोरीफाइंग कृष्णा, हु आर गिविंग दिस कृष्ण कथा, they are best among the human beings. They are doing the best charity. This is the in words of Radharani. So what is the best charity? As we spoke earlier, to give Krishna Katha. That is the best charity, as given the affidavit by Radharani. So this verse is spoken by Radharani. So in the pages of Bhagavatam, Radharani is described but indirectly. The Leela is described without even mentioning the name of Radharani. And another verse, Shukdev Goswami tells about Radharani again without directly speaking the name of Radharani. So there is another verse, Canto 10, Chapter 30, Text 28. Again comes from this Rasa Panchadhyay. In this verse is spoken by the gopis when they are searching for Krishna. Radharani is not there. Radharani is with Krishna. So we'll discuss this whole pastime in detail when we get to that pastime. Here I am describing the glories of Radharani. How Radharani is described in Bhagavatam. So Parikshit, Shukdev Goswami says, Anya aradhito nunam Bhagavan Haririshwarah Yanno vihaya govindah Prito yamna yadraha. So Anya aradhito nunam Bhagwan Haririshwaram, that Supreme Lord, is worshipped by some Anya Gopi. Anya Aradhito, he is worshipped by Anya Gopi. He has left all of us here and gone to some other place where he is worshipped by this special Gopi. Anya Aradhito Nunam. Yanno Vihaya Govinda Prito Yaman Yadraha. So this, what is the brief description of this pastime? When Krishna called all the gopis, he played on the flute. So he started dancing with all these gopis. That's the Maha Rasa dance. Krishna has called all these gopis who are in the count of millions. And Krishna is dancing in that rasa. And one should not think that rasa is any mundane rasa. Some boy dancing with 5-6 girls. They think, oh, ye ladka to ras leela kar raha hai. People give that kind of name. That's a very mundane correlation with this rasa dance of Krishna. Krishna expanded himself in that many number of forms, as many gopis are there. And Krishna is dancing with everybody. All the gopis are thinking Krishna is dancing with me and me alone. So all these gopis, they got pride in heart and Radharani got मान. सभी के हृदय में थोड़ा घमंड आया और राधा रानी के हृदय में मान आया, क्रोध. That Krishna, has given me up and he is dancing with everybody. So as all the gopis got this pride that Krishna is with me only, Krishna left everybody and went away, taking Radharani with him. So Krishna along with Radharani, he went away, and all these gopis, they are searching for them, following the footprints. And that's how these gopis are reciting this verse. Anya aradhito nunam Bhagwan Haririshwaram. That Krishna has left all of us here, has gone with that one special gopi. Who is that one special gopi? Srimati Radharani. And Krishna is being worshipped by that special gopi in a secluded place. As all these gopis are searching for them, and Radharani, who was with Krishna that time, Radharani now got pride, transcendental pride. That, oh wow, Krishna has left everybody and he is come with me alone. So she got that pride and she is thinking, I'm very tired. Please lift me up. Please pick me in your lap, in your arms, and take me. So Krishna, he bent down to pick Radharani and he just disappeared. And Radharani was also left alone there. So all these gopis are searching for Radha and Krishna. As they come there, they see this gopi also with scattered hair, mixed with dust of Braja forest, and she is also alone. Where is Krishna? So now all these gopis along with Radharani, they start singing this Gopi Geet.
Is that kind of a Viraha Geet as well?
Viraha Geet, that Gopi Geet. So that is where this verse comes. Tava Katha Amritam Tapta Jivanam. So all these gopis along with Radharani, they sing this Gopi Geet. So Radharani, even though not described directly in the pages of Bhagavatam, she is mentioned indirectly. Shukdev Goswami did not even take directly the name of Radharani. So this is one time where indirectly name of Radharani come Aradhito. So Radha is there in that word, Aradhito. But Radharani is a very deep tattva to understand. How to understand Radharani? Because as I said, there are three potencies, right? Sandhini Shakti, Samvit Shakti and Haladini Shakti. And Radharani represents this Haladini Shakti. And because of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in Kali Yuga by taking the bhav of Radharani, because of his mercy, we are able to understand Radharani little bit. What are we called? The followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what are they called? Yes, Vaishnava is one, but the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu particularly, what are they called? What is that particular sampradaya?
Gaudiya.
Gaudiya Vaishnavas.
Gaudiya Vaishnavas.
Right? Gaudiya Vaishnavas. What is the meaning of Gaudiya Vaishnava? Vaishnava, who is the follower of Vishnu, right? Who worship Vishnu, they are called Vaishnavas.
So
Who
God-
follow Krishna, who worship Krishna, they are called
God. Right?
Krishnayas.
Krishnayas, okay.
But who worship the Param Gauri, Radharani. Radharani is Param Gauri, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. Right? She is the Param Gauri. Gauri, one we know Gauri, Parvati Devi.
Parvati Gauri,
But Radharani is Param Gauri, from whom all other Devis expand. So who is the follower of Radharani, who serve Krishna in the footstep of Radharani? They are called Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he preached the Jugal worship, the Jugal Seva of Radha and Krishna together, that's how the followers in that sampradaya that became as a Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya. Because before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna was worshipped as Krishna, not as Radha Krishna. Krishna was worshipped as Rukmini Krishna, right? Dwarikadhish Krishna, but not as Radha Krishna. So before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because his mission was to spread the worship of Radha and Krishna, to spread the glories of Radharani, so he already started that mission. So Madhavendra Puri, who was the great guru of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the guru of Ishvara Puri, from where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Diksha. So Madhavendra Puri actually started the worship of Radha Krishna as Jugala Jodi. He went to Vrindavan and he started establishing the temple of Radha and Krishna. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared and he mainly glorified Radharani, glorified the love of gopis. So we are known as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, worshipping in the footstep of Radharani, following in the footstep of Radharani.
Yeah, because Krishna, Rukmini, like that combination is nowhere seen any in these days. I mean,
Right, so
it's
all the
been many
temples we
centuries.
see the worship of Radha and
Radha,
Krishna.
Yes. Correct.
So basically, if we want to be known as devotees, how can we known as devotees? How can we consider as devotees? अगर हमें भक्त मानना हो तो भक्त मानने जाने के लिए कुछ लक्षण होने चाहिए कि नहीं? जैसे कोई डॉक्टर है, डॉक्टर को डॉक्टर मानने के लिए उसके कुछ लक्षण होने चाहिए, कुछ क्वालिफिकेशन होना चाहिए. सम क्वालिफिकेशन हैज टू बी देयर दैट ही हैज सम मेडिकल डिग्री, ही इज प्रैक्टिसिंग, he has done so many years of internship and whatnot, so then he is considered as doctor. The same way engineer or farmer or whatever profession is there, so somebody to be considered a doctor, a engineer or a teacher or a farmer or something, there need to be some characteristic. So same way for a person to be considered as a devotee, as a Vaishnava, what are the criterias? उसके लिए क्या criteria है? So first criteria, I will tell you 3 criterias. If we meet these 3 criterias, then we can consider devotees. First criteria, if somebody has taken shelter of Harinam, right? If we want to be considered as devotee of Hari, devotee of Krishna, Vishnu, Ram, if somebody has accepted Harinam, then we can be considered as devotees. Because in Kali Yuga, there is no other process which we can take shelter of. taking shelter of Jnana Yoga, doing a yajna, that's all not possible in Kali Yuga. So we can easily take shelter of the holy name. So if we take shelter of Hari Naam, that is the first criteria to be considered as Hari Bhakta. Second criteria, so first is Hari Naam, second is Hari Vatsara. What is the meaning of Hari Vatsara? The particular days related to Hari. If we take shelter of particular days which are related to Hari, then we can be considered as Hari Bhakta. So जो दूसरा criteria है वो है taking shelter of Hari Vatsara, like the days of Ekadashi, days of the festival celebration, Ramanavami, Janmashtami, Deepavali. So celebrating those occasions, those days, observing fasting on the days of Ekadashi. So if we observe austerities on Ekadashi, we are celebrating Hari Vatsara, taking shelter of Hari Vatsara. So that is second criteria. And the third criteria is taking shelter of Hari Priya. Okay, so taking shelter of Hari Priya. Who is Hari Priya? Srimati Radharani. So Radharani is the topmost in the spiritual world. She is the main consort of Lord Krishna in the spiritual world, from whom all other Lakshmis, Mahalakshmi and Raja Lakshmi and Dhana Lakshmi and whatever all other Lakshmis expand, Graha Lakshmi, Annapurna Lakshmi. So all these Lakshmis, they expand from Srimati Radharani. So taking shelter of Srimati Radharani, because Radharani is the topmost devotee. When she see that we are approaching Radharani, we are having little desire to serve Krishna, then she gives our application to Krishna. Here, this is a very good devotee. He is even better than me. Please accept him. So what are the three criterias? Taking shelter of Harinam, taking shelter of Hari Vatsara, taking shelter of Hari Priya. Srimati Radharani. So because Radharani, she is Krishnamai. What is the meaning of Krishnamai? She is completely absorbed in Krishna. Her whole consciousness is absorbed in Krishna, in serving Krishna. Dedication towards Krishna. She is considered as the best devotee. So Radharani is non-different from Krishna. She appeared from the body of Krishna. She is the perfect energy. She is complete energy and Krishna is complete energetic. So Shakti and Shaktiman, they are non-different from each other. And without Shakti, there is no Shaktiman. So that's why in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is described who is Radharani. Radha Purna Shakti, Krishna Purna Shaktiman. Dvai Vastu Bheda Nahi, Shastra Praman. As per the description of Shastra, there is no difference in Radha and Krishna. Dvai Vastu Bheda Nahi, Shastra Praman. So Radharani is the complete energy of Krishna. Krishna is energetic. And Radharani is also described as Radha Krishna Ek Atma Dui Dehadhari. They have assumed two forms, but they are one person, one Atma. Radha Krishna Ek Atma Dui Dehadhari. Anyo Anye Vilas Rasa Asvadhana Kari. To enjoy the rasa with each other, they have assumed two forms. So Krishna and Radha, they are non-different. Krishna is Sevya Bhagwan, Radha is Sevak Bhagwan. Sevya Bhagwan, who is being worshipped, who is being served. So Krishna is Sevya Bhagwan and Radha is Sevak Bhagwan, who is serving. So Radharani is always serving Krishna. So it is described in the spiritual world, in Goloka Vrindavan, spiritual world. Originally in the beginning, Krishna is alone. Everything emanates from Krishna. So originally Krishna is alone and Krishna had the desire to enjoy. So as soon as Krishna had the desire to enjoy, from his left part of the body, a Prakash Kunj appeared. So she assumed the body of a female form and sat down next to Krishna on the left side. And her beauty is described that she is 10,000 million times more beautiful than Krishna. 10,000 million times more beautiful than Krishna. In scripture, Krishna's beauty is described. What is the Krishna's beauty described? How is Krishna's beauty described? Adharam madhuram. Right, we discussed that his lips are so sweet, like the lotus petals. His eyes are so sweet. His whole body is sweet. Whatever he does is sweet. So Krishna is described, beauty is described, but Radharani's beauty is even million times more beautiful than Krishna. And as soon as she came, she appeared, she immediately had a desire to serve Krishna. And she ran to pluck the Malati flowers to serve to Krishna. So Radharani appeared from the body of Krishna. As soon as she appeared, that female form, she had a desire to serve Krishna and she ran to pluck the Malati flowers. And as Krishna saw her running to pluck the Malati flowers, Krishna addressed her. And what are the words which emanated, the syllable which emanated from the mouth of Krishna? Because that was the Rasa Mandal area in Goloka Vrindavan. And she ran to pluck the Malati flowers. So from the Rasa, the word Ra, and running, Dhavati. From Dhavati, Dha. So the Ra comes from Rasa and Dhavati. From Dha comes from Dhavati. So Ra and Dha. Krishna said Radha. So that's how Radharani's name came. So that female form which appeared from the body of Krishna, that Prakasha Kunj, her name was given as Radha by Krishna, who is the pleasure potency of Krishna, to give pleasure to Krishna, Hladini Shakti. So Sevya Bhagwan and Sevak Bhagwan. So Radharani's name is always Radha. Krishna's name keep changing, right? We have different forms of Krishna. Radha Kunj Bihari, Radha Gopijana Vallav, Radha Vrindavan Chandar, Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govindji, Radha Gopinath. So Krishna is addressed with different names. Radha's name is always same, Radha. Radha is always Krishnamai. She is absorbed in Krishna. How is she Krishnamai? What is the meaning of Krishnamai? That who becomes just like Krishna. जैसे रसगुल्ला होता है, you know रसगुल्ला. रसगुल्ला के अंदर क्या है? That gulla plus rasa. Right? That is the spongy part and is filled with rasa. So you squeeze that rasagulla, what comes out? Rasa. So your hand becomes like रसा. अगर हाथ में पूरा रसा डाल दो तो हाथ के अंदर पूरा चिपचिप रसा हो जाएगा. And you touch that hand with somebody, that person also will become like rasa, sticky. So Rasgulla is completely Rasamai and Radharani is completely Krishnamai. She is completely absorbed in Krishna. So her whole desire is to serve Krishna and bring the souls to Krishna. When we have a desire to serve Krishna, we should actually approach Radharani. We should approach Krishna not directly, through Radharani. And in Kali Yuga, we cannot approach Radharani also not directly. So through whom we approach Radharani? Through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who made Radharani accessible in this world, who preached about the glories of Radharani. And Prabhupada took that mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread the glories of Radha Krishna Bhakti in the whole world. So Prabhupada at the age of 70, right, he came to the Western world to give this Krishna Bhakti. So Prabhupada is doing that charity of giving Krishna Katha to everybody in this material world. So Prabhupada, first of all, he left his home to go to that Vrindavan, Bhuloka Vrindavan. And then he left that Vrindavan to come to this world, this Western world. And after preaching Radha Krishna Bhakti, he took the people from this world and took again back to the Bhuloka Vrindavan. And then he left that Bhuloka Vrindavan to go to that Goloka Vrindavan. So Prabhupada spread this Krishna Bhakti everywhere. He connected us with Radha and Krishna at the feet of Radha and Krishna. See, before 1960s, how many people will go to Vrindavan? And very few people will go to Vrindavan. Vrindavan was like just as a forested land. So randomly few people will go to Vrindavan. Now you go to Vrindavan, पूरा चहल पहल है. Right? कार्तिक मंथ पैर रखने की जगह नहीं रहता कार्तिक मंथ में वहाँ पर. And even if you go to Vrindavan and you go to some shop, Loi Bazaar or something, the shopkeepers will also say, the Prabhupada ne magic kar diya. So many people are coming to Vrindavan now. Earlier only some renounced people, some sannyasis will come. Now हर कोई आ रहा है. Everybody is coming to Vrindavan. Sannyasis are also coming, grahasthas are coming, children are coming, brahmacharis are coming. Everybody is coming to Vrindavan. They spend so much time in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada spread the glories of Radha and Krishna everywhere, and Prabhupada spread the glories of Vrindavan in this material world and made so many other places like Vrindavan. So wherever Krishna Katha is going on, that place becomes like Vrindavan. That place is like the temple of Radha and Krishna. So if we really want to serve Radha and Krishna, if we have that strong desire, then we can make progress in bhakti. So there has to be two things there. जैसे if you want to shoot something with that gulel के पीछे क्या रहता है, rubber band बंधा रहता है ना. There is a rubber string, right, rubber band. And if you want to shoot that stone or something little far away, you have to pull that band, right, stretch that band and then shoot. Then it will go far. The same way, if we want to go far in bhakti, if we really want to get to the feet of Lord Krishna, what we need to stretch like a rubber band. So just consider a rubber band. So we need to stretch from the top, stretch from the bottom, and need to bring little tension in that rubber band. What is these two ends of that rubber band represent? The top end is a strong desire. I want to go, I want to move up in bhakti. And that lower end represents danya bhav, humility. Oh, it's very high position, I am nowhere, I am very insignificant, I am not qualified. So if you have only this mood, oh, I am very insignificant, I am unqualified, just pulling just down. There is no pulling upward, there is no tension creating. So we need to have upper tension also creating that strong desire, and then just keep grounded also yourself with that mood of humility. So if you have strong desire, at the same time a very humble mood, dainyata bhav, then we can progress in bhakti, then we can go closer to the feet of Radha and Krishna. So we have all the tools available in our hands, at our fingertips. We just need to practice and progress in bhakti. So I wanted to speak about the glories of Radharani, her appearance in this material world also. But because the time is short, we'll stop here and we will cover this topic maybe next time. So Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.